Hi there and welcome to the Saltlands gameplay video.
This is my This is your commentator for the night, Greg.
Yeah, and he's Andrew. We're both from the Antler Games team.
We hope you'll have fun tonight with us.
Yeah, we're already more than a week into the campaign, so we decided to record a gameplay video. This is a complete play of Saltlands, more than 2 hours, but it's been cut back down to less than 2 hours. And you can watch us in the corner as we comment on the gameplay, and you can see everything that happens on the table.
So it's in Hungarian. The gameplay's in Hungarian, so we'll be so you'll listen to us instead.
Okay, let's do this. So here you can see the table, and in the corner the 4 players, one of which is me. To the left you have Petra, and she's playing right there with the Arsonist. Next to her is me, I'm Greg, I'm playing with a little girl, okay? And next to me is Hage, he's playing with the scouts. And on the right side we have Dénes, and he's playing with the Ploughman. From now on we're just going to refer to these players with
according to the character.
Yeah.
So, Petra's already moving forward, as you can see. She's wisely stepping next to a hanker to pick up some crew, and she's a bit worried about the truck just over there next to her.
Yeah, when you start out the game you basically have 2 sides to choose from. You can head over to the sandy area or to the mountainous area. Usually going with land sails, the mountainous area is tougher because those can't pass over, so many players just decide to go on to the sandy desert as a start.
As you can see, 2 of the vehicles are already activated at the beginning of the game. This shifts where the spawn phase will be. So Petra's just picking up some items. As you can see with a land sail, you can't step directly against the wind, and so there you can see the wind tile. You have a number on it. With the token with the number on it is the wind strength token. It shows that you can go up to 3 steps, which can not be directly against the wind, and can be double steps in 2 directions, as shown on the wind tile.
Yeah, so this wind mechanic is very important because every player starts out with a land sail, but later on they can change vehicles. So right now Petra picked up several cards, and now she used the water so that she can do something else, probably picking up even more cards when possible and killing the hankerer. If you kill the hankerer that's a raider on foot, then you can get 1 crew, which is very important because a crew means more actions and more health.
So now that she has the the crew, she'll probably pick up another 3 cards with that crew. So basically, you can only move once during your turn, and you can take as many crew actions as you have crew. Now Petra's gotten 1 more, so that basically means that she can take another action. And she can also do non-crew actions on her cards, but this is probably going to be it for her turn. And actually it is. She just activated the group of raiders with the quads and the buggies, so now they're moving towards her because she's the only player on the board. So they need to move it as close to her as possible.
Yeah, fortunately the buggies can't pass over sandy areas, so they have to go around, and the quads just close in on her. So that's how it goes. They're activated in a group because we only have 4 players, so we have 4 raider groups, and the hankerers and the motorcycles and the quads and the jeeps or buggies are grouped together.
Okay, so now it's Dénes with the Ploughman. He's looking for a good spot where he won't get killed, but can still get the maximum amount of stuff for his trip on the Saltlands.
Yeah. Every player starts out in the starting hex, and then they have to move away from that once in the first turn so that the next player can just spawn there. Yeah, he's thinking quite for a long time, but...
You need to make sure that you don't get killed right in the first turn. The Saltlands is a dangerous place.
Yeah.
So you can get killed quite early.
It's very easy to get killed in the first turn right away.
Especially if you don't know the game well. But you don't really need to worry about it too much because you have an extra life. And if you're careful, well, if you die twice, then you're out of the game. But you don't really need to worry about that too much because it's really unlikely that you will die twice until the end game. So you don't have to worry too much about player elimination.
Yeah, we've heard some concerns about player elimination, but that's why we put in this respawn mechanic, so that actually I can told you ahead of time that everybody survived this game, and in spite of dying once, because I died once and other people did that too. Okay, so Dénes stepped near the Ploughman stepped near the Arsonist. They're checking out that sandy area, and right now the Ploughman is standing next to some cards and the Hankerer. So he killed the Hankerer with his scythe.
Which is his special item, and he can basically do that as a free action. He can use it once a turn. So that basically got him an extra action. That's his special ability.
Yeah.
His special item. His special ability is that he has an extra armor.
Yeah, that's very useful in the game. So.
He's a tough guy.
Yeah, he's a tough guy. So now he got one crew and some loot for the raiders, and now he's activating the last raider group that hasn't been activated in that round. So now Hankerers and motorcycles move on the map. There are no motorcycles on the map, so they don't move, but Hankerers move. They do 2 steps, and they move over any terrain.
And they need to move towards the closest player, trying to move as close as they can. And the third rule is that they should do that in the least number of steps. If you have multiple choices where to move them, then the player who's activating them gets to choose. So if 2 players are of equal distance, then they can choose who to attack.
Yeah, we'll see many examples of that later in the game. So right now the Ploughman finished his turn, and he's just calculating whether he reached his hand limit. And now it's going to be the scout's turn, and he's Hage, the scout. He's just scanning the map, which way to choose and where to go. You really need to calculate in the first few turns where you end up, because you might be in rage for raiders, and they might just kill you very, very easily. So he decides to move to the left, and he picks up some cards. Actually, you can pick up more cards if you stay behind, but it's more dangerous because you might get swarmed by raiders.
He can actually pick up 4 cards with that token in the back, and he's also stepping onto a spawn point, which means that there won't be raiders coming from over there.
Yeah, he's blocking it.
And it's also might be important to add that
Yeah, so right now he's just thinking about what to do next. The scout's special ability is that he can move more because he's a scout or transporter, and he can move 1 hex more, and his special item is a binocular. It's a pair of binoculars. He can explore any area on the map. But right now, more interesting things are happening. Raiders are spawning. When no more raider groups can be activated, then you take off those cards, and now the number 1 is visible on all damaged cards, which means raiders spawn on every spawn point up to the number 1, which means on level 1 spawn points. But one of those is blocked, and only 1 raider spawns on the other one. It's a quad if I see it correctly from here. So it was quite an easy one. And right now, at every raider spawn, the wind speed is changed from 3. It's now changed to 5, and the wind direction can be changed by the player who spawns the raiders.
So the transporter is spawning the raiders, so he gets to change the wind direction, and he draws randomly a new wind strength. The wind can't stay the same. You pull a token from the other 2 that are left over.
Yeah, and now it's my turn, the little girl, you know. So I'm scanning the map about where to step next. The little girl can move fast with land sails, so she always moves with 1 more wind strength when she's using a land sail. For me, that means a wind strength of 6, which is a very high wind strength. And my special item, the little girls, is a toolbox. You can replace cards in your hand by drawing 3 cards and then discarding 3. I'd never used it in this game, but it's very useful when you're low on items and you need something else.
I didn't know you were a little girl.
Yeah, so...
but now your secret is out.
Yeah, I'm still thinking because I'm slow. I was talking a little bit. I decided to head over to the mountainous area. It seemed to be a pretty good idea because I was just try to stand in the middle of something, because once you kill somebody or draw cards, you can get more water and weapons, and then continue to do your actions. Once you move with your vehicle...
So he's greedy, basically.
Yeah, okay. So once you move with your vehicle, you tap the card, you turn it around, and then you do the same with my character, because I used the spear, I'm just showing it. And then I got one crew because I killed a hankerer, which is very useful, because once you get the crew, you get it unused and you can use it again. But I drank some water so that the little girl is refreshed with her spear, and then I used the spear on the enemy to kill it, and I also drew some more cards for there.
Okay.
So
the reason he could get around those mountains, because obviously you can't go uphill with land sails, was because he had such a with wind strength of 6, well 5+1, he could move all around, and now he's probably planning to kill that raider just next to him. We'll see in a second.
Yeah, you don't want to end your turn with raiders next to you, because they're going to be activated and they'll just try to kill you.
Well, especially since none of the raiders have already been activated this turn, as you can see.
Yeah.
All the ones, the damage cards marked 1 are still with their face down.
Yeah, I'm drinking even more water so that I can use more weapons.
So every time you drink a water, you can refresh a crew member. And also, you can use the item that he last used again, because normally you can only use each card or each item only once.
This means that if, for example, the little girl as a crew member uses a spear, then she just can't pass this spear on to the other crew member so that he can't use it again. Fortunately, when I was drawing cards, I found that axe, which is very useful, so that's how I killed that wad. And once I killed it, I had the choice to sit into that vehicle to change over to it, but I just passed it on, so I put it in the discards. Each time you kill a raider, you need to get its vehicle from the supply deck, and if you pass it on, you don't want to change, then you just discard it. Later on, these can be found once the discard pile is reshuffled.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. The stuff that the raiders bring into the game, you can't find it in the normal Mirage deck at the beginning of the game, but as the game passes and you discard stuff and you reshuffle the deck, you'll be able to find all those vehicles and stuff over there.
Yeah, this reflects that in the backstory, once the raiders arrive and there's some war and everything around there and people are fleeing, you just find more stuff and loot left behind in the Saltlands.
Okay, just a second.
Okay, so here we are in the second part. Right now it's still my turn, the little girl, and now I'm activating some raiders. If you see a different t-shirt on Andrew every time, that's because he's having a t-shirt every time, which is different. But actually we're really tired because it's after 11 PM here and we've been cutting this video all day. But right now let's concentrate on me, who is looking at the table right now and choosing which raider to activate. So I'm just trying to calculate how it's the least bad for me.
So we went to studio to get some better lighting conditions, but we still had a lot of technical problems. And we did the video yesterday, and we've been cutting it today to get it working because, well, anyway, that's how it is.
Yeah, so I activated the quads and the buggies, and now I'm calculating what's gonna happen. The problem is that they're making an armor-piercing damage. So when they're moving, they can make normal damage, armor-piercing damage, or they just get extra movement, but they don't do damage.
It's a bit like as if you were using a fuel in a motorized vehicle, that you get +3 movement. Except that they don't attack when they use extra fuel.
But right now they have armor-piercing damage, and the Arsonist took damage because even if she had armor, she couldn't get around that damage. So she used a med kit. If you just throw away, discard a med kit card, then you can retain your health. So her crew member didn't get killed, which is good.
So yeah, the raiders always move towards the closest vehicle, and the transporter is also attacked. and we see.
Yeah, I'm trying to negotiate where she has a med. He has a med kit.
Yeah.
He did.
So the transporter also has a med kit. If you get a damage, then you need to discard a crew, or you die. Sorry. So you need to discard a crew or a med kit, or you die. So that's how it works.
Yeah, as you can see on the Arsonist playmat, for example, she has one crew member, the dude on the lower part of the playmat, and of course the Arsonist herself is a crew member, but once she's dead, then the player is dead and she needs to respawn. So we already did that with the Raiders this turn, and it's the Arsonist turn coming up, and she's thinking about where to move next around that sandy area. It's really hard, of course, to calculate, like, where am I safe from the Raiders, where can I get more cards. Actually, it's a goal to pick up rumor cards, as you may have read in the rulebook, so that's what moves the game forward.
So basically, you're trying to get out to the destinations, you're following these rumors, and you need to get 6 of these rumor cards to be able to win the game. Until then, the exit point markers aren't active, you're just following the rumors. And when you have the 6 rumor cards, that's when they are actually turned into active exit points, and you can win the game at either.
Yeah, she's still thinking about which rumor to pick up. So the 6 rumor cards needs to be picked up by any of the players. So
no, actually, I think she's thinking about what she can do that's more useful than the rumor cards, because you need to get the 6 rumor cards, but you kind of like want the other people to spend their time and energy doing it, because that's good for everybody. But you want to do what's good for you.
Yeah, we're trying to negotiate that. She can move there and kill that truck possibly. The problem with that truck, that gray token over there, is that you can see on the radar boards that the truck has 2 crew members and 2 armor, which means it's really hard to kill it. The bright side of it is, of course, it holds so much radar loot in it, and you can change the truck vehicle, and it's
but so the truck is also the slowest vehicle, or one of the slowest vehicles, moving only 2 steps at a time. So she doesn't move next to the truck, no, but she is. Oh, sorry. Yes.
Yeah, she's still calculating, because of course the wind strength is 5, so you can do 5 steps.
Or of which, in 2 directions, you can do the double steps.
Yeah, that's the wind sailing mechanic in the game.
As you see, on the wind tile, you can see the arrows, and where you have 2 arrows in that direction, that's the direction you can do the double steps, if you want to. You never need to move the full amount, you can always move less. So now she's decided where to step, she's just next to...
Yeah, a rumor, a truck, and a spawn point, but the spawn point is just...
empty at the moment.
It's empty at the moment because it's a level 3 spawn point. Raiders only spawn there in round 3. As you can see on the damage cards, it's only round 1 right now, so we've got plenty of time until Raiders spawn there. So she damaged it with a spear. The spear has armor-piercing damage if you throw it away, if you discard it, because, the spear just breaks into the armor of the vehicle. So she damaged the truck, and now the truck's token is flipped over. In the final game, there are going to be miniatures, and the miniatures are going to be just tipped over once they're damaged. It's pretty rare when the vehicle's damaged.
So you don't need to worry too much about it, because it's very rare to leave. It's not rare to just damage your Raider 1, but you usually just want to finish it off right away.
Yeah, and now it's a funny thing. She's using her special item, the flamethrower. The flamethrower uses a fuel to do damage. A fuel can be used as a weapon. It does 2 damage on an area, but the flamethrower does 3 in the same area, so it's much stronger than just...
So basically, you can use your fuel to move faster. You can make Molotov cocktails from it. That's an area effect weapon that does 2 damage.
Molotov cocktails?
Yeah.
They do 2 damage.
Yes,
they did so much damage, yeah.
Yeah, and but she has the special ability to use the fuel in her flamethrower and do 3 damage instead of 2.
Yeah, and because the truck has 2 armor, then the 3 damage could pierce through the 2 armor and still had 1 damage remaining to the crew.
So basically you take the 3 damage, you subtract the armor, and you're left with 1 damage,
Yeah.
And since the truck had 2 crew members, so 2 lives, and it was already damaged once, she just managed to just kill.
Yeah, she decided
to
not to sit into the truck though. She just kept her land sail, and now she got raider loot and decided to activate the hankers and the motorcycles.
And now she should be searching the deck for the truck and discarding it, but seemingly it looks like we forgot about that.
Oh, that's a bad thing. So
it doesn't matter.
She's just
not a big
calculating
deal.
Where hankers and motorcycles are going to move, but right now there are no motorcycles on the map, just a few hankers.
Actually, if she has a water, she could pick up that rumor token.
Yeah, but she doesn't want to because, as we stated before, it's not really worth picking it up.
No. It's worth picking it up. It's just... She just might do it next turn, at the beginning of her turn, and not use a water for it.
Yeah, you don't have any actions remaining, so you just wait for next turn so that you get your actions back. Your crew
so you can take actions before and after moving, basically any time. But the important thing is you only get to move once during your turn, and you can't interrupt that. And so the Explorer actually stayed behind, and that's a tough call, because whether that's good.
The transporter.
Transporter. Sorry. So yeah, he stayed back, and it's a tough call whether that's a good thing, because you can only move once each turn. So, and there's only like 6 rounds in the whole game. So you really need to be careful about where you move, and that's probably your most important decision in Saltlands. Where are you moving?
And how much you move and how. So, yeah, it's interesting and sounds interesting that the game is long. It's more than 1.5 hours, but you only move 6 times during the game, and after that it's over. Maybe you move even less and win the game.
So, I have to add that these are beginner players. Well, Greg... Yeah, I suppose he's not a beginner, but... He plays like
I just managed to stay out of range of that hanker. It just moved toward me. But right now it's already the Ploughman's turn. The Ploughman is standing right over there in the middle, and he just drew some cards, taking a look at them.
So basically, you can, for a crew action, you can pick up the Mirage tokens next to you. So whether that's rumors or cards. But I guess you already picked that up from what's going on.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. And the startup layout is always the same. So what you see right now on the board, where you have those cards, those rumors, except for the raiders, they're random.
So you would think that results in a similar thing every time, but actually it's important to kind of have it balanced between the players. And you also, even just what the raiders are up, what kind of raiders you have up at the beginning already does enough to change the game for not to have the same start twice, basically ever.
Enough uncertainty. But right now, the Ploughman, he picked up a rumor, so that's the first rumor card, and you already see that he put it down. On the rumor card, you have 2 choices about where to move, which direction to move the exit point markers. The exit point markers are only tied to a certain terrain tile. So first they were tied to the starting terrain tile, and now they all moved and spread around. You choose that.
So basically, the 2 options are one's on the red background with the white letters. You see that they spread out like that, and then you have the lower option on the bottom of half of the card, which is on the whitish, yellowish background with black. And that one, he didn't choose that one. That would have moved them slightly differently. I think one of them. The one with the the leaf symbol, kind of leaf symbol one, would have moved backwards and just stayed in place. So moving them forward and spreading them out is very useful, because these exit points, you're basically following these rumors. So you don't just go to random places in the Saltlands. You can move to the places that get uncovered by these rumors. So it's important to keep them going, because otherwise you won't have places to explore. Well, actually, you can get around that with maps and with the Scout's special ability.
The binoculars.
Yes.
Once an exit point marker moves to an unexplored area of the map, then that area is going to be explored. We'll see it in a few more rounds. So right now the exit point markers moved, and the Ploughman activated the trucks as the raiders, and the trucks are just moving around. And he's now calculating what to do. That truck was stuck, and now it just moved next to which player is in the middle? Oh,
isn't that the Ploughman?
I think that was that. Yeah, that's the Ploughman. So it moved next to the Ploughman. And they just do 1 damage in this turn, as you can see.
And that's not really a problem for the Ploughman because he has
Armor.
1 armor just from his special character ability. So he just laughs it off, and that's it.
Yeah, it's not an issue this time. So now the Ploughman finished his turn, and it's the Scout again, thinking about what to do next. He's still stuck in the, as you can see, in the lower left corner of the map, so he really needs to get away from there as soon as possible.
So so it's still the Scout's turn. He's going to activate a raider, and then after that, it's going to be the little girl's turn, who's going to respawn
the raiders,
and that's going to be the end of round 1 and the start of round 2, and we're going to have raiders spawning from the point 1 and number point 2. So now
so what happened is that he wanted to attack the raiders next to him, but I suggested him that first he should pick up some cards and see what he could do next, because it's always worth picking up some cards first, because you can see if you get more weapons or whatever.
And now he has a big decision because he's picked up 2 vehicles. One of them is the Wind Tractor.
And the other one is an upgraded land sail.
So the Wind Tractor is a special vehicle. It doesn't move quite the same way as anything else. And now he chooses the Wind Tractor. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
In his position, I'm not sure if it's the best choice because the maximum speed of the Wind Tractor is a bit smaller than the maximum possible speed of a land sail, and he's quite back.
The Wind Tractor moves freely, but it can only move as many hexes as the wind speed. So right now it's 5, so it's worth going over.
So the Wind Tractor doesn't move like a normal land sail because it can move in any direction, even against the wind, and it can move in any terrain, even uphill. But it does move the number of hexes as the wind is strong. But it can't do any double moves. So that basically means that with optimal wind conditions, and if there's no terrain in the way, like mountains in the way, you can get further with the land sail. Mm-hmm. But with the Wind Tractor, you're usually a little bit faster because you always can take as many steps as the wind is strong in just the direction you want.
And it can pass over any terrain.
Yeah,
so that's a useful feature for it. And actually, it's an important choice that you have to make when you find some vehicles, or you can change over to raiders' vehicles, because you can't keep vehicles in your hand.
And now he's done his 5 steps, which is his maximum allowed movement.
Yeah, he's moving next to that rumor card. Maybe he wants to pick it up this time. So you have to discard every vehicle that you find, and you choose to not change it to. So he discarded the upgraded land sail and his own land sail.
It's quite hard sitting in 2 vehicles, so you know.
Yeah, and there are also cars that are marked with blue color on top, the blue stripes, like crew members. And you have to discard those if you don't put it in your land sail storage that you see on your player mat.
Sorry, so there's 1 slot on your player mat for the land sails, and 3 blue for crew or other kind of items. And what's interesting is what they were just talking about, I think, is whether they want to trade. Because whenever 2 players are next to each other, they can freely trade cards, and it doesn't even take you an action. So you can just switch around whatever you want. Now he's activated the tracked vehicles, and we're just going to have a look.
Yeah. Nothing happened because there were no tracked vehicles.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's a very easy thing, that if you activate a certain type of raider and there are no raiders of that type are present on the map, then just nothing happens. And now it's the little girl's turn again. I got my crew members refreshed and also my vehicle, and now I'm thinking about which way to choose. I'm kind of stuck there in that mountainous area and thinking about where to go next. So
hopefully you'll... Oh, no, you're... Oh,
yeah, because the wind strength is 5 and the little girl can move even more, then I just sail through the half of the map with just one movement. So you can move quite fast if you're with the land, say, on the wind direction is good for you.
I was thinking you would probably... the little girl would probably pick up a rumor somewhere, just to, like, expand the place where you can go. Yeah. But he did something probably far more important, which is pick up... you just moved next to a victory item, right? So that means that you can pick up a victory item over there, which is probably the most important thing. Because basically, to win the game, you need to get to an activated exit point. That's what you need the 6 rumor cards for. And then, after that, you need to go there and
have a required number of victory items to win.
Yes.
So there are 3 kinds of victories right now. They all tied to one kind of colony. As you can see already in the campaign page, there is the oil colony, the water colony, and the soil colony. And we have 3 victories tied to them. Here, what you can see, the victory symbols on the black markers, the black standees, it's not the same as on the campaign page because this is just a prototype of the game.
So a lot of what's here in the game is going to change. Some of the more complicated things are actually going into the expansion, but most and also a lot is changing with how we change to miniatures. The exact vehicle setup is changing, but
so these are minor changes and not the core gameplay has changed.
So basically, they are quite many, but they don't like these are like if you know the game deeply, then you'll understand that these are just small details because you know that it'll like give you the same feeling of play when you're doing it. But if you just look through the list, then it can seem like many little things are still changing. Yeah. This is because with this review prototype, like what we sent to the reviewers, we've like had a lot of playtesting, and it's like we really know what still needs to be changed. So
yeah, right now I'm spawning raiders because I couldn't activate any more raiders because they've all been activated. So right now it's round 2, which means on every spawn point mark with the number 1 and 2 raiders spawn, and I changed the wind speed from 5 to 3, and I changed the wind direction a bit so that it's better for me.
So as the game progresses, we're going to talk quite a bit about how cooperative or competitive it is. So no. I think you will manage. So you need to draw a new wind token anyway. So that's you might as well get up and
so back to the changes. For example, in the final game, you won't see any hankerers as they are right now because you'll have survivor tokens instead, which are stationary and just give you a crew member.
Yeah, that'll make a little bit more sense, and we'll have 6 plastic raider miniatures.
Yeah, you can see them on the campaign page, like those special hover car and that special jeep, small and large track vehicle and everything.
So, what we'll be talking quite a bit about, hopefully, tonight is how competitive or cooperative the game is, because you see, the first group that gets to one of these exit points wins, and the number of players in that group, whether it's 1 or all 4, is not
specified,
predetermined. Yeah. So you basically you're just looking out for your survival.
What was the victory condition?
The victory condition is that you need to be on the. You need to have 6 rumors revealed, so you know where the exit points are.
We only have 1 so far.
Then you need to be on a terrain tile with one of these rumor markers.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have killed all the raiders on that terrain tile, and then you check whether you have enough victory items. And you need victory items. You need 3 of the type of exit point that you're on, that you're trying to leave.
For example, you see the cog over there, the cog symbol, it's tied to the oil colony. And then you need to have 3 of that symbol, and then 1 per person.
And then additionally, you need 1 per person of any kind. And you only count the players that are on that terrain tile trying to win. So if you're alone and you just go there, then that means that you need 3 cogs to win it. The cog symbol victory, and you need 1 more per person. If you're alone there, then that's just 1 more. So you only need 4 victory cards.
Yeah. And you can be a stowaway easily in a winning group if you just own 1 victory card, and before they could win, you just get there to the Terran time. For example, before they could kill the raiders. What's happening now is that she picked up a rumor card again, so there's the second rumor card in the game, and now 2 Terran tiles are explored, which are going to be probably free, because as the victory markers move to unexplored terrain, as I said before, they get to be explored. Every Terran tile, once it's explored, can be rotated into 3 possible directions, and the player who explores them by picking up the rumor gets to choose how they're oriented once they're explored. That's one advantage of picking up rumor cards, because you can choose from 3 options about where the victory markers move and how the newly explored tiles are oriented. Once the Terran tile is explored, raiders are put on it where they have the skull symbol. It's like initial raiders who are just stationed there, and you can see what's there, like more cards, or hankerers, or victory items, or
so whatever. You put mirage tokens on the appropriate spots, and we have 3 types now. One is white for the Saltlands, and 1 for the mountainous terrain, and 1 for the sandy terrain. So they're 3 different colors that you can see.
And these are random, so the basic layout for the starting Terran tiles, it's always set, it's always the same for balance, but newly explored tiles, they contain random items like...
And also, what the tiles themselves are also random, so you don't know what is over there.
Yeah, so that's why this game is really replayable, because it's different every single time aside from the starting 4 tiles.
I would say that usually games that are built a lot on how the players socially interact are like fun to replay, because people don't behave the same way even in similar situations. So I think that this is I don't think you need to worry about replayability, because it's always going to be different with
yeah, you're always playing with different people who behave differently. And
well, even with the same group, humans are perfectly random enough, and you know, you don't have you don't have any dice in the game, but you still you could kind of like have few sources of randomness, because you kind of like just put up the mirage tokens and you flip the terrain tiles, but that still results in it really being quite random. So
without dice rolls.
But one of the bigger random things is probably what damage cards you flip for each raider. There are 9 damage cards in each like round, and you always put up as many next to the raiders as you...
Yeah, for example, now you see 4, but you have 9 in the deck marked with the number 2. So there's variety and randomness in that which ones get there into that 4.
Yeah.
So what she did is that she explored new terrain by moving the victory markers with a rumor card, and then stepped onto that newly explored terrain and picked up some cards. She found a spear gun, which takes up quite a lot of storage in the land sale, because it's marked with a blue top, but it's a very powerful weapon.
Header, I think we should call it.
Blue header, yeah. Sorry, it's a blue header, and it does armor-piercing damage, which is very useful. And she also picked up a different kind of land sail,
which has like extra armor on it. So
yeah, it's
harder. Well,
it's armor, but it has less storage. Your hand limit is determined by the number of hand limit symbols added up on your playmat. If you can't seem to make out the numbers, it's different for the character you have and the vehicle you have, and you add those up.
Like the characters usually... So basically an empty like blue slot has 5 written on it, and then you can usually change that to a crew, which only has 2 on it. So basically, if you pick up a crew, you can have 3 less cards in your hand. Now let's quickly have a look at where we are.
She thinks about which raider to activate, and this is going to be big right now because we made a mistake at this point because we were already into the game like 2 rounds and we were like, oh, we're doing good, have lots of items and vehicles and exploring the terrain, and then there aren't too many raiders here, and we were like, all right, which raider to activate? I don't care. It's just actually this one or that one. We're just trying to discuss.
I actually think it might be a good idea to just tell you that we were planning to like record this whole thing just in one shot and no cutting and everything, but we were just having some technical difficulties with the camera. So these poor players spent all of afternoon playing when the game itself was only 2 hours, and it probably would have been an hour and a half had they been like just playing from start to finish.
Yeah.
But
every several minutes we just had to stop. So right now she activated the motorcycles and the hangers, and they're just moving around. The motorcycles can move over sand, but they're very, very fast because they move 4 tiles, and the hangers, you already know them. The problem here is that, as you see, yeah, the Ploughman's taking damage because it's armor-piercing damage. So, fortunately, the Ploughman had a crew member,
and he threw it away. But the problem is that with the second raider going in, he received 2 armor-piercing damage. So, for the first one, he threw away the crew, and for the second one, he didn't have any crew left to throw away.
Yeah, so he died.
Yeah.
So it's just 1 armor-piercing damage, but 2 raiders, because when we were activating the raiders, we didn't really calculate what would happen, and we didn't take that risk into account of
or maybe just the Arsonist was trying to kill him. I know, actually, that's probably not likely.
Sure about that.
So you usually so if you have like 6 players, it gets a lot more competitive because you know, you're all unlikely to all win.
You need to collect a certain number of victory items, 3 from that kind, and then one per person of any kind. But if there are more players, it's easier for them to collect the required number of items. So usually big teams, when there are like 6 players, they tend to split into 2 teams who just try to go on their own race.
Well, yeah, either that or it's just that it's hard to like...
Right now I'm really mad because I died. I got approached by I didn't have a crew member, I got approached by 1 hangar or motorcycle, I don't remember, and it just killed me. I was mad. You can see my head smoking over there. If you die, you just take your standee or figure off the board, and next time when it's your turn, just respawn.
Yeah, but what most, you lose all of your cards and you get back your basic land sale. This is not such a huge deal. So now he's pulling 8 cards, and
for the Ploughman, because it's his turn coming up, so he respawns instantly.
Yeah,
he gets 8 cards, and he has to discard 4. Plus, in addition, he gets his land sale. You always start on a land sale. One advantage of respawning is that you get to choose the hex on which you start. You can start on any hex on the 4 starting terrain tiles.
Yeah, so the four terrain tiles you saw that were already face up when the game started. So it's not so at the beginning of the game when you don't have victory items, dying isn't a huge deal, but you need to be more careful for the rest of the game. Because if you die again, you're out of the game.
Yeah, that's what's called player elimination.
Yeah, and a lot of people seem to be worried about it, but it's kind of like balanced so that you should if you play well, like reasonably, I would say, not well. If you play reasonably, you're not likely to die in the first. So you're only likely to die the second time by the end of the game,
you can hopefully survive. So Saltlands doesn't really support a kick in the door kind of gameplay or game style because it's so easy to get killed if you miscalculate.
Actually, I'd like to argue with that because we'll see some really cool action. Actually, just from you, the little girl.
Okay, but that's me, not just a regular player.
Okay, so no, that's what I call bullshit.
Okay, so what happens is that
Don't believe he actually plays terribly. I'm just and he takes just so long. I'm no.
Yeah, and I'm lucky, so that's how it goes. So now the Ploughman he responds, and he got some victory items as well into his hand, and so it wasn't really a bad turn for him, even with responding. One downside is that you lose your character ability. We forgot about that. The Ploughman's special ability was his shield, so he lost that, but it's still possible to get a shield.
Well, not really. I would say his armor, you know, his toughness. So he's stronger. Right? Yeah, it's not an item, but a character ability. But he turned his character card upside down to the flip side, and that has a black header, not a blue one. And well, at least that's what we're calling it. It basically removes his special ability.
Yeah, he just doesn't have it on it.
And now he managed to do a useful turn and get some stuff. Where is he exactly now? He managed to move off and pick up a victory item, I think.
Yeah, now he activated the quads and the buggies, but fortunately they don't do damage this time. They just move 3 tiles more, which is a lot because buggies move 3 tiles and quads as well. Now they're moving 6 tiles, so they just all stack up next to players where they can go.
But they don't do any damage when moving. It's instead of doing damage, they move 3 extra tiles, so it's not that dangerous. And usually it can even be good for players because they have like targets to kill on their next turn.
Yeah, if raiders stack up next to you, that gives you an option to kill them before moving on. But if raiders are not right next to you, but farther away, then if you want to kill them, you have to move next to them, step next to them, and then even more raiders can arrive.
Did you write down the number?
Yeah, I did. So here we are again, and the game continues. Another cat, another shirt, as you can see. So right now the scout is trying to move around to a different spot because he was stuck amongst those raiders. So he prepares to get another crew member by stepping next to a hankerer. And he's thinking about which is the best place where he can step, like... So I was saying that if he steps next to the Arsonist, then they can trade, which is always good.
Yeah, so you rarely find that players are next to each other because you're always going towards a goal. But it can be really useful to step next to other players because that basically means that you can trade items, and that's usually quite powerful for both players because you can kind of like optimize your hand and you can even change vehicles or give characters or whatever you want.
If you'd like to. You can switch characters though. But
no.
the only thing that you can't work around using weapons, that if you use a spear, for example, you can trade it to another player so that he can use it again or
no, actually,
like that.
That's just it. You can do that.
You can do that?
No. It works the following way. You can only use something once a turn, but you can basically pass around a weapon because you always refresh your stuff at the beginning of your turn. So if it was used and you pass it on to someone else, then it will be also used, but at the beginning of their turn, they'll refresh it and they can use it.
That way, yeah. Okay.
And that basically means that, you know, in one round, you could have 2 people using the same item. But this doesn't. So this is a bit of a hack, but it isn't. So some people have expressed that this was like worried that this would be too powerful or anything, but it's actually like a minor little advantage if you get next to someone.
Especially if you take into account that most cards needs to be discarded after you use it.
No, well.
Yeah, most weapons, like firearms, for example, in the Saltlands where you can't manufacture bullets or ammo, so you have to just discard those weapons.
So these are like these ancient artifacts that you know, like you have a revolver with I don't know, a few bullets in it, and you're like really happy you found it, but once you shoot the bullets, you don't have the ability to make any more, so you know, it's just junk after that.
Yeah, that's why you have to discard it. You just found them and that's it. And you're discarding spears. There's plenty of spears.
So
in the game.
during the game, you're destroying all these ancient artifacts and just leaving them in the desert.
So
you terrible people.
the scout decides to activate the trucks, which do 1 armor-piercing damage. The upside of it that they're not near anybody to do damage to. So we just actually stayed alive this time. We're really trying to be very careful now because I died once, the Ploughman died once, and you don't want to die a second time. So yeah, as you can see, I just picked up some cards. I started my round with that, and I picked up tons of armor.
So he's just respawning again, and from the 8 cards he has, he needs to discard 4, and basically. He's just deciding what to throw away. He's picked up a bit too much armor, so he can...
I didn't pick them up, I choose it while respawning.
Yes. So he's discarding some of that. He also has one of the big shields that takes a slot, a cargo slot. So he's actually set up quite good. And, well, actually I should say it's she, because it's the little girl.
That means he has a player as me. Okay, so whatever, I have to discard 4 cards. I got really good cards in my hand, but I had to discard some armor. It seems to be compelling to hold lots of armor in your hand, but it's actually not, because if you get armor-piercing damage, it doesn't matter how much armor you have.
Yeah, and also you already have 1 big permanent shield that you have in your cargo slot, so that's that basically.
Yeah, I'm thinking about a good strategy about how to spawn, because you can really flip it to your advantage that you died, because the game has already advanced. You can choose the spot where you
so
spawn.
I would never say that dying is an advantage, but at the beginning of the game, when you don't have any victory items, it isn't much of a setback. It isn't a big one.
I'm an optimistic person too, so I'm always trying to see the advantage in everything. And as you can see, I spawned right in the middle of a hankerer, 2 card tokens, and another motorcycle.
Yeah, actually, this is quite a good tactical choice, because he has the right wind to escape afterwards, and he's basically killing the hankerer and the motorcycle with a Molotov cocktail. This is an area effect weapon that kills both of them.
It's a fuel, or the fuel can be used as a Molotov cocktail as well.
Yeah. So these are the 2 uses of the fuel card, and now he can use his land sail to speed off in the direction that you're the fastest in, and get quite far away. And I think you're actually even able to go next to that spear victory item over there.
Yeah, I decide not to switch over to the motorcycle. I'm sticking with the land sail, even with losing my ability, because I respawned, I lost my ability.
Yeah, but the wind strength is 4 now, so you should be able to get quite far away.
I'm thinking about drawing more cards. The problem is that because I have the shield and a crew member, I have a very small hand to work with. Maybe 5 cards. It was 5 cards, and you can have 13 cards in your hand if you don't have any crew members. So you can actually decide between having lots of crew and lots of action options to do, or having a large hand with lots of useful items to use, for example, medkits and armor and weapons.
Yeah, basically, it's still, even if you don't have more space, it's often very worth it drawing new cards, because then you can select the ones you need the most. Though I don't think that extra cargo space is probably not, what you just threw away is probably not useful for you at the moment, because you don't want to...
an empty card in the discard, that's extra cargo space. That's a big chunk of nothing.
That's actually, that's actually one of the cards that, it's actually, I think, the only card in this prototype that's still missing its illustration. It'll be, in fact, it'll be replaced with like this kind of illustration of an extra, like a sidecar or something, to like expand your vehicle and be able to put more things on it.
Yeah.
So now you're activating the tracked vehicles.
Yeah, I stepped next to the victory item first, but I chose not to pick it up because I didn't have any more actions left. So I said, all right, why not at the beginning of the next turn? And I activated a
But did you have a choice? I mean, did you have any water?
I chose not to do that. I don't remember whether I had water. So,
probably not. Probably you'd have picked it up.
So
and I think that
I activated the tracked vehicles, but there were no tracked vehicles present on the map, so nothing happened. And then the Arsonist stepped right next to me, next to the victory item, and she's planning to pick it up, even if I could do that. So.
But I think you managed to talk her into first activating a rumor. I don't know how you managed that.
Yeah, I'm
so now they're trying to decide whether to activate the top or the bottom side of the card. This is actually quite an important decision, because at this point in the game you kind of need to like get the Saltlands explored, and you're also need to determine where the exit points are going to be.
You're trying to figure out where you want to win and which cards, which kind of victory anthems you want to collect. And also there are some funky rumor cards where you can see one choice on there, one victory marker just stays in its place, and there are even a few when they move back, they move south, which is down on the screen.
Yeah. So now you're just discussing that.
Yeah, because we're tired, and we were like, all right, so this moves there and it's there, so what now? And we don't get it. Whatever.
It's actually quite simple. It's hard to see here because little arrows that show which way they move are a bit hard to see on the video.
How did the rumor mechanic get into the game? Do you remember that?
I think we wanted some. That's a good question.
The game didn't start out with rumors at all. It just wasn't there. You were just exploring the Saltlands and just moving around.
No, but
randomly.
I mean, look. Basically, that doesn't say much, because I think that almost every feature there was a long part of the development process where basically every feature was tried in the game and not in the game.
We call it an alpha phase.
Yeah. So in the alpha phase, everything you see here was basically tried out with it and without it. The rumors, I think that we wanted...
If you tell us a feature, and most of you do in the campaign page in the comment section, yes, we tried it.
Yeah, it's basically guaranteed. So rumors, I think we really wanted we thought it would be it seemed like thematically and a fun way to do things, and also give the players a bit more choice. Yeah, I remember
it was like vectors in mathematics, vectors, those arrows you add up.
Please, don't say words like that, because everyone's going to. It's really simple, and everyone's just. And
please don't stop the video.
Everyone is going to just zone out, and it's no. You just simply move them in the direction of the arrow. It's nothing complicated. Don't listen to him. It's
you hear the word mathematics.
No.
Yeah. So we moved the rumors, and two of the exit markers just got to the same point. It can be useful because you can.
If you have the two exit if you have the exit markers bunched close together, that kind of helps you, because you can just collect items and then win it either. But it also is a disadvantage, because that means that they're not exploring more of the Saltlands. I know that sounds a bit weird, but think about it like you're following the rumors towards the possible locations of these mythical destinations. Yeah. So just think about it like you don't just start off in a random direction in the Saltlands. You talk to the local people and try to figure out where these legendary places must be, and you're just following the trail.
Yeah, so the reason why we're thinking so much about whether or not to explore an area is because it has an upside and a downside, because you see the new victory items that are present on the new type, but also raiders appear there, and spawn points appear there. And
basically, exploring a new terrain tile is generally very positive and very useful, because you have more area to go and more stuff to explore, and more stuff to do and pick up. But also there's the disadvantage that there can be spawn points there and also initial raiders on it. Now, actually, we're just at the end of Phase 2 and Phase 3 starting, so we have we were round 3, I should say. Sorry, round 3 starting. So we're having all of the like raiders spawn up to the spawn points 1, 2, and 3.
And the Arsonist is just standing on a spawn point, so we were lucky to have that spawn point blocked. And it's right next to me, the little girl, so it's a very lucky for me. Yeah, and the Ploughman's player Dénes, he's placing. He's placing the raiders. Once the raider bag is empty and there are no more raiders in it, then they don't spawn anymore. Unfortunately, we haven't gotten this situation.
But don't worry about that. There will be actually. So this number of tokens that we have is like 5 sets for 30 tokens.
Yeah.
But actually, the final game will just with the base game. We'll already have 36 miniatures. So you shouldn't run out, and you basically you will almost never run out. And even if you do, you will just not place them. You should probably the rule's going to be that you should place them on the higher number spawn points first. So that basically means that you might miss out one on the starting terrain tile, but it's not going to affect the game. So. Don't worry, we're going to have, so this is like kind of like calculated, you're going to have enough miniatures to play through the whole game.
So right now we're thinking about whether or not to change the wind direction.
Even this 30 tokens is plenty, and we're going to have 36 miniatures in the final game, so it's going to be very unlikely that you run out.
It's lots of miniatures to play
Well,
with.
unless you don't kill any of them, but then... You're dead anyway, so...
Exactly. Yeah, so the difference is that all the miniatures will be black in the game. Here, the tokens are colorful, but the miniatures will be easy to distinguish from each other. That's how.
We made sure that they all have a unique character, so you can quickly tell them apart at a glance.
And you're welcome to paint them, of course, if you'd like to.
Yeah. I think I'm actually really hoping that we'll see some nice paint jobs by fans. Of course, that's not for everyone, but yeah.
But there are many people who do that. Of course.
Okay,
so right now he's calculating about what to do next. We already have plenty of areas explored, and it really matters where you step next. That area, if you see that newly explored tile where the Ploughman just stepped with the 2 victory markers, there's a motorcycle in the middle that just can't get out because it's surrounded by sand. So it's basically stuck there.
So this is since it's only a 4-player game, and anyway, this has turned out to be a very friendly game. The players, since already 2 of them died, they feel threatened and really... Like, oh no, we're all going to die here.
Yeah.
That's the feeling they have now. They shouldn't have that feeling. I mean, like, so in playing in the game, they have that feeling that, oh my god, we're all going to die here and we're doomed. So they're kind of like being happy to like work together and not try to get the other people killed because they think that, oh, if we don't cooperate, we're just all going to die, and that's not good for anyone.
We can't collect enough victory items during the time we have left.
Yeah. So they feel the pressure, so they're working together. If they would be doing better, then they would be more worried about, hey, is the other person just going to leave without me? And, it's not only about, like, their attitude, but actually the game is, like, constructed in a way that it's a race. So you basically, if you can go out and win, then you're kind of like I don't want to say you have to, but it like flows naturally from the rules that you do that, because as soon as you move over there, they check whether you've won, and basically there's like no incentive to wait for anyone else, but if you have what you need to win. But there is a risk involved with waiting. So, and you just rush to the exit point, and so basically you like wait and see who you can win with, and when you have who you can win with, then you want to hinder everyone else and try to quickly jump there and win the game. Jump to the exit point and win the game. But now they feel that they're just about going to make it, so they're working together almost completely.
And with a different number of players, you need to collect different number of victory items. So what we said, 3 of the same kind and 1 per person of any kind.
But sorry, don't confuse. No. Don't confuse the two things. One of the things is +1 per player is for the players at the victory who are trying to win at the moment. Yeah. It's not the number of players playing. It's,
per players who are trying to win. But this is for 4-6 players. As you can see, we're 4 and we're cooperating because we know that otherwise we couldn't win. And if there were 6 players, they were more competitive. But in the 1-3 player rules, as we've stated in one of the latest updates, the number of victory items to be collected will be decreased somewhat. So it allows for a shorter game and for more room for people. So if they don't want to cooperate, they'll have the option to choose so.
Well, so this classic mode that we're talking about, basically it's more cooperative with fewer players and more competitive with more players. But each time you play, it's different. So if one group of players would be feeling like they might win, then the other group of players would be sure to win without the others. Then the other group of players would be sure to move the raiders in a way that they hinder the group that seems to be winning.
Yeah, even if you see that you can't win because you're so far away from other players or you're gonna get killed by raiders soon, you just try to survive for as long as you can and try to make the others lose.
Actually, usually, luckily, we've found during our playtesting that doesn't really happen often. So, So when you see that you can't win, that's usually at the end of the turn, like at the end of the few rounds, that's like at the last round when you see, okay, we lost. You don't really, that doesn't really happen too early that we can't win. Of course, if you're learning the game, you can have very different results. So reviewers have found the game to be a bit different than what we found in our
reviewers found the game hard. They said, "Oh no, we died so early and so fast," and I think they're just not used to doing that or feeling that. There were reviewers who said that, "Oh, we died the first time," and they just didn't like the game from then on. But it happens. Other reviewers, they died the first time and then played another time and they survived and enjoyed the game.
Actually, we had quite a few reviewers who were super ecstatic that it's like a proper challenge and not just like, it doesn't pander to your needs, but you're really out in the desert fighting for your survival. So we didn't want to lose that. I think it's quite important.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the game a bit.
So what happened is that we explored even more terrain in the meantime. Almost every tile that we need to explore has already been explored, and then now there are quite a few raiders moving up from the back, from the starting terrain tiles, because they just spawned there and they're just moving towards us. The scout has activated the quads and the cars.
And they're just figuring out which players are the closest and how they should move.
Yeah. If they're far away from the players, then they just move in the general direction of the players.
No. They always move towards the closest player on the shortest route possible.
Which means that they're moving in the general direction if they're far away enough. What I'm trying to say is that the player who activates the raiders gets to choose in which order they activate. So that's a beneficial thing because raiders can get stuck in each other. Raiders and nor players cannot step on any tokens. So if there's a raider in the way,
actually, Dénes, the Ploughman, is just saying that there's like this big wall of hankers following you just across the screen, and that's quite a bit of a danger. But you need to have a bit of tension just behind you. Okay.
Yeah. So raiders can get stuck because they cannot step on any tokens or whatever, And if you move
they
them
don't
in the
get
correct
stuck. They just like can only just move a few little less than they could maximum because they can't step on each other. It's just like 1 or 2 hexes less. They will eventually move on.
Many times they get stuck because if a player is surrounded by other raiders, then sometimes you can get more raiders next to you, so they just won't move.
Well, if you're that crowded, then you're already in a big trouble.
Yeah. Right now I decided with a little girl, it's my turn, I decided to step in the center. You can see it with the cog victory symbol. It's a mountainous area, and I already switched to a tracked vehicle because that's armored.
Yeah, you just killed the raider
I
and
just
switched
killed the
to
raider
it.
and switched to it because it's armored. As you can see, there's a wall of raiders heading towards me, and I'm thinking about surviving this.
Yeah. So that's armored. So that's quite useful. Also, I think you already have quite a bit of fuel collected by this point, and you can't use fuel to move more with land sails. So it can be like beneficial to change to a motorized vehicle
once you have fuel.
Yeah, once you have fuel.
It's very simple. A vehicle, when it's motorized, can move just as much as the raiders on the radar board. You can see it, how much they can move. And for example, the track vehicle can move 2 hexes. And if I switch to it, it can still move 2 hexes, but I can use fuel to move more. And every fuel you discard while moving gives you 3 additional hexes to move. It's very simple. The upside is that once I got some raider loot, I had some water, and then I refreshed myself.
And now you picked up a victory item, which is quite important.
Yeah, I got a victory item. So I'm just trying to buff myself up, just in case whatever happens.
I think that the victory item is the most important part of this.
Yeah, you always need to collect them as soon as possible.
Did you just pick up the wrong... Oh, no, you just had a look.
Well, I just had a look, and at this point I'm really concerned about that wall of raiders heading towards me, because it's a lot of them. Okay, so...
No need to worry.
Yeah, there were actually... We didn't have more kinds of raiders initially, right? So we always had 6. No,
well...
They weren't differentiated at first. There were just one kind of raider probably, and then we switched to having more. So, right now I activated the trucks, and the trucks can pass over the mountainous terrain, and they're heading towards me. I didn't activate the tracked vehicles. The tracked vehicles, you can only see there are 2 of them in the game on the 2 starting terrain tiles in the bottom. They can't harm me, so I chose the option that the trucks are moving towards me, but they cannot reach me. So
basically he figured out that, okay, the tracked vehicles are a safe option, but they're also going to be a safe option if the next player activates them. While with the trucks, it might not be safe for everyone if they're activated later. So let's quickly activate them. We know they do no damage to anyone, and then the tracked vehicles will be fine for the next activation.
Yeah.
So that was the logic behind that. That was actually quite smart.
The Arsonist is moving next to me, the little girl, right now. I told her that she should help me out in this situation. We can trade cards, switch some weapons or whatever.
But I don't think you actually do trade just yet. I think you're going to wait till the beginning of your turn.
Yeah, but it's a good option, so we decided.
But now she's trying to destroy the
big truck.
The big truck.
Yeah, so... I offered her some weapons in exchange. I offered her to give some weapons, but actually she can handle the truck easily because she has plenty of weapons. It's a good idea to team up a little in the game, especially when there are lots of raiders coming, because you can handle them more easily this way.
Yeah, so now...
Yeah, she's thinking about using the rocket launcher. The rocket launcher is the strongest weapon in the game. It does 5 damage and basically kills anything in its way. It's very useful for killing trucks and whatever. You can only get strong weapons by killing raiders. In the basic Mirage deck, when you flip or collect cards.
Tokens.
Yeah, tokens where you can get these cards. You can only get weaker weapons, basically.
No. Actually, you pull from the Mirage deck, and that doesn't the best weapons are in the Raider deck. But after you reshuffle, since everything is discarded into the same place, after you reshuffle the Mirage deck, you will find, you might be able to find the Raider weapons inside. Because, you know, after reshuffling, the discarded Raider cards get in there. This is in line with the thematical thing that what the Raiders bring, the special kind of weapons and stuff, you can't find on the Saltlands at the beginning of the game, but by the end of the game, you can find these stuff on the Saltlands. Like invaded,
Swarmed by them, and as you can see, the Mirage deck already has a few cards now left.
The Arsonist used an item to change the wind. That should help her. Though actually, I think she didn't really change the wind for her own benefit because she's in a motorized vehicle.
Now, this was the moment when we realized that we're all sitting in wind tractors or motorized vehicles. So actually, the wind direction doesn't matter at all. So we just decided to change it for fun or whatever.
I think she might have had to discard a card, and that's probably why.
And we have a wind strength of 5, which is really beneficial because we only have 2 moves left in the game per person.
Yeah, actually, it's maybe a bit more than that. So this is the 3rd round. And there's still the 4th round and the 5th round.
3 moves left per person, so it really matters what wind strength you get.
3 or 2 depending on where you're
One character who's not playing is the healer, and she has the option to change the wind direction at the beginning of the turn.
I would,
Is there a way to change the wind strength in the game? Aside from
no. That's always just from random.
So the wind strength is what you get, and if it's too low, then you just switch over to another vehicle.
Yeah.
Right now, the track vehicles are activated, and we talked about that they're a safe bet. So basically, nothing happens now.
So I think it's important to note that the wind strength can be 3, 4, or 5. In during alpha. Like our alpha testing, we actually had 0 wind strength also in the game. And it was pretty much impossible.
It's like, it was back in those alpha times when
everything was changing.
The designer, Greg Krupa, he just made something up and, okay, we drew a wind strength of 0. Yeah, we all died. Okay, then let's move on to the next version. So it just didn't work out. But that's how Saltlands was born. There are so many mechanical elements in the game that need to be balanced together and mix up smoothly so that they bring along a good gameplay, that we needed to test out every feature that could be imagined, whether they were good or not. It took quite a long time and lots of play testing, but as you can see, the final product is pretty much well balanced. Right now, the Ploughman is doing some fighting. He's standing in the top left tile on a spawn point, Now you can see his figure, and he killed a motorcycle, decided not to switch into there, and he's not picking up the last rumor, just getting some radio loot this time. We're already trying to figure out where and how to win, but as you can see already, just 4 rumors has been activated yet, so we still need to activate 2 more rumors in order to be able to win.
You guys should be trying to figure that out, but actually, you're not paying too much attention.
You can't hear the sound, so you can't hear what we're trying to make up. But
well, actually, the reason why we're doing this commentary is because the original game is in Hungarian. So we wanted to give you a better idea of what's happening
and there's lots of bullshit going on in the game, like, alright, make your move, please make your move.
So
the Ploughman picked up the 5th rumor card now, and we're trying to think where to move the victory markers, because they get stuck at the end of the map. They just can't move further.
So basically, if you pull a rumor card where the victory marker would move off the map, then it just stays in place. So that means that once the victory markers have reached the end of the map, they're less likely to move during the game.
As you can see, that tile is revealed. It has several victory markers on it. He decided the orientation. It doesn't really matter this time.
So this was quite useful because the victory marker with the leaf on it basically explored let you explore that terrain tile, and now you can put up tokens and vehicles on it.
And there are 2 victory items on it with the same symbol, as the victory marker, which is just pure luck, but it allows us to win the game.
Yeah, so actually...
Once again, to win at the leaf victory marker, then the players on it need to have 3 victory items with the leaf, and 1 per person on the terrain tile of any kind, plus all the raiders need to be killed on the terrain tile.
Yes, and of course, before you can do any of that, you need all the 6 rumors. So, it's actually quite lucky that you draw that, and it just comes to show that this was, you know, they just about won. So now it's round 4, they're just going to spawn the raiders.
So Dénes is spawning raiders for the 1 round before the last. There's a 4th round. You have 5 rounds to play to win the game, and after that the raiders win because they just swarm over the Saltlands.
Well, actually 6 because there's a 0th round, but we'll change that to the final version to be numbered from 1 to 6 because that's generally easier for everyone
to understand. Yeah, and here at round 4 already there are so many raiders spawning that they really just invade the Saltlands completely, and you just start a panic usually. Most players just start panicking this time, and it's good because it just makes you think about really how you can survive and win the game. You can already see the faces in the corner. Everybody, how they react to all those raiders.
Yeah, you guys seem a bit worried.
Yeah, but this was a deliberate design decision. We wanted people to be afraid of the raiders. The new wind strength is free, and you can see on the face of Hage that he doesn't really enjoy this fact because he's having a wind tractor. And if you have a wind tractor, you can only set 3 hexes when the wind strength is free. If he had a Lancet, that would be a tad better, because he could use the wind direction to step forward.
Actually, the wind tractors are really, it's like our favorite vehicle, kind of.
Right now, he's really mad. He just stepped 3 hexes, and that's all he could do right now.
And so it's a really interesting vehicle, and it seems kind of a bit absurd, but we actually like kind of modeled it off. It was inspired by a real vehicle. I think it's called Blackbird, which has like this big propeller on top of it and can go directly against the wind if it wants to. And so basically we just changed from this normal turbine arrangement to one of those windmill, like one of those...
The vertical wind turbines, but
yeah,
it's fictional. If you've ever seen a vertical wind turbine, it has nothing to do with this.
What? It's inspired by that.
People generally make wild claims about vertical wind turbines. I have some experience in that, and it just has nothing to do with these vehicles. You can never make one.
No. That's completely false. You can make one like this, but you need to get the... the proportions on the art aren't perfect, but actually, if you would, you have to consider that the surface area of, like, the cross-section... Oh, sorry, we shouldn't... It's okay. So, it's actually not as far-fetched as you would think for the first time, but the proportions aren't perfect on the art, but, you know, these are, like, fictional vehicles, so I think it should be fine.
Okay, so right now the track vehicles are moving, and they're doing +3 movement. The track vehicles are slow, now they're moving a lot, but it's not an issue because they're not doing any damage. At this point, we already have a vague idea about how to win. We're trying to win at the exit point with the leaf marker at the top. You can see that, because we see that we might be able to collect enough victory items. So we're already thinking about how to get there, who's going to collect how many victory items. Okay, so this is
my favorite part. It's Greg, and he's showing a lot of heart and hitting the raiders hard. He just used the fuel to be able to move there.
I got the fuel from the Arsonist. So I actually talked her into giving me the fuel to step there, and I stepped into the middle, and just used one fuel to kill a motorcycle, another
No.
motorcycle.
You just used the grenade.
Oh, the
and
grenade,
that's how
sorry.
you manage to damage the truck, which has 2 armor. The grenade does 3 damage for damaging it once. And you actually kill 2 raiders and are now picking up the loot for it, so you get even more stuff to work with. So you have this huge rampaging killing spree now, just close to the game's finale. And I think I just love it. And the fact that, you know, usually people quickly learn to respect the raiders in the beginning of the game, where you see that you can easily die. But now, here at the end, you can really show them who's boss before leaving off to the horizon.
It's kind of a chain reaction. You kill a raider, you get more stuff. You might be unlucky, of course, and just grab free waters or free spears or something. But basically, anything you draw, it's useful for killing more raiders.
Yeah. Actually, three spears or 3 water isn't that bad. So
it's not that bad. I was like, this is going to be a risky move to make, but if I don't make it, we'll just die anyway.
Yeah, but so now you use the grenade to kill, like, I don't know, three more raiders maybe.
Yeah, I used another grenade in another direction to kill more raiders.
Yeah, so he's like really clearing it out, and this move kind of shows a lot of heart. So that's a good job.
Yeah, it was kind of an ego boost, as you can see on my face in the corner.
Yeah.
And now I had an ice pick. The ice pick is very useful because it does armor piercing damage. If you play Tomb Raider games, then it's a very important item in the latest Tomb Raider games. And I also had tons of more weapons that I'm not just not gonna use because there's only 2 turns left in the game.
Why do you even play Tomb Raider? Why did you bring up Tomb Raider? Okay, never mind. So do you still have enough to kill that track vehicle? Yes, you have a water.
I used the water.
Yeah, to refresh a crew, so you can use the ice pick to kill that. So that has 2 armor and 1 crew. So, but the armor piercing damage from the ice pick ignores the armor, so you can kill the crew directly, and it's dead.
Yeah, truck vehicles are kind of easy to kill this way, and I promised the Arsonist to help her out by just killing the truck vehicle. It's just been activated, so they wouldn't move for quite a long time. But I said, why not kill it if we can? Kill it while it moves, basically.
You mean before it moves?
Now I'm reshuffling the Mirage deck as I'm drawing more cards. As Andrew had told about this game mechanic, if you reshuffle it, everything in the discards, vehicles, raiders, loot, and everything gets back into it. You can even find some victory items there.
If someone died with victory items in their hand.
They just drop the victory items for you. It's kind of similar to other games like computer games when you die and you go back into the maze or the dungeon and you meet the leftovers, the remnants of dead people and their equipment.
I never thought about it like that. But anyway, if you run out of Raider cards to draw from, then you simply draw from the Mirage deck. Mm-hmm. So that's what's happening here. After a while, everything gets mixed together after the Raiders have arrived, so you just pull normal cards, just pull from the same deck.
Yeah, and then I activate some Raiders because I have to, and I decide to activate the Hankers and the Motorcyclists. It's risky because late in the game, anywhere you stand on the map, there are some Raiders close to you, and you're always taking that risk into account that you might be armored, but you can get armor piercing damage, or you don't have armor and you just get lots of Raiders. So I took the risk of activating the motorcycles and the Hankers, and indeed they got near me and tried to damage me, and they tried to do 1 damage, but fortunately I was sitting in a truck and it's armored, so it just ignored the damage.
So it's important to note that the as the round number increases, so later in the game the damage cards get harder and harder, and you have more armor piercing damage, and
by the Raiders, made by the Raiders.
Yeah. So that basically means that the damage cards get harder. So actually, Greg was taking, so the little girl was taking a little bit of a risk here.
But you can't do otherwise, because I could have activated any raider and it would have hit me. Or
so it was no, actually, the reason you decided to activate those two, the hankers and the motorcycles, was you could have activated something with the small, maybe something else, but it was actually you wanted them next to you because you were thinking, I'll probably survive, and then I can like collect their loot. And so you were taking a risk here, I think. I think you could have done something else, but I think that might have also endangered some of the other players. So
yeah, and the other reason was that if motorcyclists and tankers get near me, they're weaker. And as you can see, for example, I have 2 trucks approaching, and they just can't get near me by taking 2 steps. If there are other raiders in the way, it's harder for them. So, if I have to choose between having weak raiders next to me or tougher ones, I choose the weaker ones. In her next turn, the Arsonist tapped on the Terran tile with the Leaf Victory item. As we're approaching the end game, we were discussing like what to do on that tile, because we need to pick up the victory items there, we need to pick up the rumor card there, and
as you can see here, the players have already revealed their victory items. So they've decided, okay, we're not going to win if we don't work together and put our stuff together. So they've shown what they have in their hand, the victory items, and they're actually even questioned the scouts, like, why isn't he showing his stuff? And then he actually flipped over all his cards and
yeah, and showed that he indeed doesn't have any.
He indeed doesn't have any victory items. Yeah, so just catching up. He could have, of course, just said that he doesn't have, and we should believe him, or said that he has some and not show us. But
yeah.
But the players realize that they need to work together because they're not doing that well.
So the Arsonist right now is using her flamethrower to kill the car next to her. The car has one armor and 2 crew members. The fuel would just do 2 damage, that's not enough. But with the Arsonist flamethrower, the fuel is even more effective and can just kill the car over there with all its armor. There are 2 characters in the base game that are not playing right now, as we told earlier. One is the healer. The healer, her passive ability is that she can change the wind direction at the beginning of her turn, and her special item is that she can get a medkit from the discard pile if there's any medkits there. And the other character who's not playing is the scientist. The scientist draws 1 more card when he draws from the barrage deck, and his special item is a water distiller or something like that. He can get a water from the discard deck if there is any there. So the discard deck represents what you can find in the Saltlands, and in the beginning of the game you can't really use these cards, you can't get water and medkits from there, but later on this can be really useful.
Yeah,
she's thinking about whether or not to change into the card.
But it doesn't have it's not a big deal now, because she's only going to have 1 more move in the game altogether, if she even does have that.
Yeah,
so they should just
not
quickly.
Much of a decision.
Yes. Though I might have actually kept the armor, because I'm already on the tile where we're possibly gonna win if we do. So I might have done that differently, but it's her choice, and that's. Is that one with extra cargo space? Or is that the?
No, it's the armored one.
Oh yeah, okay. So it's also armored, just like the truck. So.
Yeah, what we're discussing right now is which steps need to be taken in what order, so that we can actually win. We're trying to add up the victory items we have. We're thinking about blocking the spawn point on the winning exit tile, because there you can see a spawn point with a number 2.
She also has an extra crew, and is thinking whether to keep the crew or to keep the spear gun. She decides on keeping the crew because
it gives you more health.
Yeah, basically. It's harder to get killed with.
She can just tank the damage. That's all she wants to do. So she activated the trucks. There are many trucks in the map that move. Once you're near to win, you're approaching the winning situation. You only care about raiders that are near that Terran tile, because you don't want them to step into the Terran tile. You have 2 options: one to kill them before they step there or after they step there, or the other one is what the Arsonist is doing right now, is that she stands at the edge of the terrain tile and the raiders just they just won't stand on the terrain tile.
Yeah, they'll just pile up on her, and that'll still be on the other terrain tile.
Yeah.
So you basically need to defend that terrain tile where you want to win.
That requires some amount of cooperation in this case.
Yeah, yeah. But,
So it's already the Ploughman's turn. The Ploughman is standing in the top left corner. So he killed a raider, right?
I would also like to add that we've only got 5 rumor cards revealed so far.
Oh yeah.
And that basically means that you still need 1 more rumor card for the exit points to even be active. So no one can win at the moment, even if they would be on that terrain tile and they would kill the truck there.
The last rumor token is on the winning terrain tile. So he uses some water and then picks up some stuff. So we're already trying to arrange. Yeah, it's a victory item. He just gets another victory item.
Yeah, which is important, of course. So actually, it's probably more important for the scout because oh no, wait, he will also have a victory item by the time the game ends. So
yeah, we agree that the Ploughman has the victory item, one with the leaf, so he needs to step into the terrain tile in order to win. So after this, we agree that everyone steps there, and then the Ploughman has the last step to step into the winning terrain tile. And at the moment, when all victory conditions are satisfied, the players there win. So there's no compromise, no waiting for people and everything. In the story, this means that once you can get away from the raiders, because there are no raiders nearby, then you just do that and leave them behind.
And in the story, you leave them behind, and as you can see, the raiders are already swarming the Saltlands. If you're not fast enough, then they just overwhelm the whole Saltlands, and you're doomed. What exactly happens to you, that's left to your imagination. So
yeah, we're going to elaborate a bit more on these exit areas and everything, because there's so much backstory in the game. You can already read in the short stories, and there's more going to be written by our writer.
Well, actually, we will have the so we already have them. We actually have a backstory written for each of the exit points. Each of the exit points.
Yeah.
But we don't have that available in English for you just yet. But we will be having them.
We're going to translate them, and they've already been unlocked in the collector's edition.
Yeah, so in the collector's edition, you'll get them printed in a nice booklet, which will look neat and everything.
But everyone gets them online, of course.
Yeah, so everyone can read about them, but they will also kind of like be in the game.
Yeah, right now is the scout's turn. The problem is that the scout has the wind tractor. He can't step too much. We told him to just kill the raider next to him. It can be easier this way. And he doesn't even have any victory items, but because we're cooperating, we don't want to leave him behind. So, oh, he stepped next to the victory item, so right now he's securing his ability to win.
Yeah, so now he can be pretty comfortable. So if you have enough, if there are enough people, if the people on the terrain tile, when they're checking to win, if they have enough victory items, you can even win if you don't have any. So if you take her up,
surplus.
If they have a surplus, then you can win with them.
If they choose to do so.
No, they don't get to choose. It just happens. No.
Okay,
so it basically just works that if they have extras, then you can stow away with them and go with them and just win.
Yeah.
If they don't, then you can't do that. But it still takes some doing to be in the right place at the right time, even if you didn't collect any of the victory items. So don't feel like that's less of victory, because actually you know, if you're positioning yourself right, then that's actually quite a bit of the game. Just moving to the right place.
I'd say that in Saltlands everyone wins because the game is so much fun. So even if you, for example, get killed in the last round or something, or you sacrifice yourself for others or something, you still feel that you've done your part.
Why would you do that? I don't know what you're talking about.
Right now, after the scout's turn, the raiders spawn, and as you can see, it's turn 5, which means raiders spawn on every single spawn point possible, starting from the higher numbered ones, and then we're working ourselves to the lower number ones. But we already talked about this, that they're gonna be enough for raiders, so you never run out of them.
So in this case, on one of the number 1 spawn point, we couldn't place the last raider. But with the miniatures in the final version, there'll be even more miniatures than there are tokens now. And so it's not going to run out.
Exactly.
Don't worry. And even if it does, you just leave them to the furthest point.
So it's the last round. Everybody has one more step to take, and then it's game over if we don't manage to win during that time. So really calculating, I do this, you do that, we have to do this and that in order to win. I just step into the winning victory tile as well, and then I need to kill the truck next to me because all raiders need to be killed on that tile, and I need to pick up the victory item as well. I'm using the
Kalashnikov.
The Kalashnikov, yeah, that's a very powerful weapon doing 2 armor-piercing damage, and I'm picking up more loot, but I'm not gonna take any more steps, so I'm already just enjoying the game, because we all know at this point that it's very probable that we're going to win, and probably nothing can stop us from this point.
Yeah, it's actually not. It's actually quite common to like win the game in the last round. So that's not unusual.
I don't really know how this can happen. It's kind of like magic, or we just balanced it so perfectly that you can just barely win in the last round.
But you can do that quite often, so it's not like it's impossibly hard.
It takes so much time to collect all the victory items that you need to work until the last round, and you just barely win, or you just barely lose in many
the
cases.
placement of the victory items is random, but you still kind of get this. And I actually, yes, it does come together nicely, at least in our opinion, you know. Ask our reviewers if you don't want to take our word for it.
Yeah, disclaimer: we're part of the Antler Games, so we just couldn't be more. We just love our game, so of course we're just saying good things about it.
Well, I wouldn't say we're only saying good things about it, but we do love our game, yes.
So what happens is that now it's the Arsonist's turn. She's using her flamethrower again. It's a very useful item. So you can see her use it very often, and we haven't even used any other of our special items for a reason, but many times it's just very useful to have.
So it's important to note now that all the raiders have died on that place. So and the 6th rumor is also being activated just now.
Yeah. So
she now chooses to move the one with the symbol, the cog symbol, over there next to them. Because that's I think that I don't know whether that's top or bottom choice on the rumor card, but she quickly does that, and now the players are over there. There are no no raiders on that terrain tile. All 6 rumors have been activated, so it's now possible to win on that terrain tile next to those exit points. So now they need to count the number of victory items, and they see that they don't have enough. If they would have enough now, then they would leave the Ploughman behind, and the 3 of them would win the game.
Yeah, and would lose.
So if you're like, so this was a very competitive game here, but if you're feeling that you might be left behind because they have enough victory items without you, you would be doing everything in your power to make sure that they don't leave without you.
Yeah, you can't attack each other directly in this game, so all you can do is trade with who you're allied with, and of course activate raiders in a way to hinder others.
Yes, yes, yes. So you can get a few extra damage in, and of course, since each damage that gets through kills a crew member, that can be quite a thing.
And it's
activating
the last round right
the wrong
now.
raiders. So just to go out in stylishly, he quickly kills the motorcycle raiders over there with a shotgun because, well, we don't want to leave them alive.
Yeah, why not? And then he just elegantly steps into the winning terrain tile, and now at this moment all victory conditions are satisfied. So,
well, we're having a count, so we see that there are 3 matching the leaf-like symbol, the exit point.
Yeah, we have
that. And then you have 1 more for each player, which is 4 altogether. So that means all 4 players have won this game. Congratulations.
We just won the game.
Yeah, you just won the game. So I hope you enjoyed watching, and thank you very much for your attention. Sorry if it sounded a bit rambly. It's quite late over here, and we wanted to get this out to you as fast as possible.
Way past midnight, but if you have any questions regarding this video or the game, feel free to ask in the comments.
Yeah.
Okay, see you next time.
See you guys.